Coming up on this week's news, no toll increase on the Dulles Greenway as Virginia's Supreme Court upholds a previous decision. A key Oklahoma service plaza temporarily closes for construction. And we review construction in progress on the newest extension of the Dallas North Tollway. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's update of all that's coming down the pike. There will be no immediate toll increase on the Dulles Greenway as the company that owns the roadway has had its most recent toll proposal rejected by the Virginia Supreme Court, which in the past week handed up a ruling upholding the Commonwealth's denial of the proposed Greenway rate hikes. That ruling was handed up in the state Supreme Court July 17th after being appealed by Toll Road Investors Partnership 2, or TRIP 2 for short. The appeal followed a rejection of a proposed toll hike last fall, which would have raised one-way tolls during rush hour to over $8, and that's for a roadway that's only 14 miles long. The Virginia Supreme Court ruled there was nothing arbitrary or overly regulatory about the decision to deny the toll increase, noting the construction of the roadway and the revenue estimates for the Dulles Greenway were based on flawed assumptions. They observed recent use of debt instruments to keep the Greenway afloat have also been based on flawed traffic growth projections. A companion federal lawsuit filed earlier this year is still pending, but for now, tolls on the Greenway will remain the same, which is a peak rate of $5.80 for passenger cars during rush hour. No food, gas, or rest, at least for now. The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority is taking the unusual step of completely closing the Stroud Service Plaza on the Turner Turnpike while construction on a rehabilitated plaza continues. That closure happened in the past week. That means anyone traveling the Turner Turnpike westbound between Tulsa and Oklahoma City will have no plaza to use, so no gas, no food, no bathrooms, at least not at the plaza. The reason for the closure, say OTA officials, is to help reconstruction of the plaza progress more quickly and to improve safety for travelers around that plaza. A new McDonald's and Love's travel stop with expanded truck parking are being constructed at the plaza. The OTA's executive director, Joe Eschel, told officials during an OTA board meeting this month the plaza should reopen by late fall. Travelers heading west can use exit 179, which is just before the Stroud Service Plaza. That's where they can get gas and food right at the exit while the plaza is being rebuilt. There is a McDonald's and OnQ gas station just off the Turnpike in Stroud. The eastbound plaza, for its part, located in Chandler, does remain open for anyone traveling eastbound. On the subject of construction, New Jersey is taking further steps to begin construction of the first of 4 phases of redevelopment of the Newark Bay Hudson County Extension. That's the extension of the New Jersey Turnpike that routes traffic from the main line near Newark Airport over into Bayonne and eventually to the Holland Tunnel in Jersey City. The first stage of the project is supposed to get underway in a matter of months to widen the extension and replace the Vincent Casciano Bridge over Newark Bay with a new cable stay design bridge. The old bridge was built in the 1950s and is at the end of its serviceable life. Now, despite continual construction to maintain the existing roadway, residents in the areas around the extension in both Bayonne, Edison, and other towns have all expressed continued objections to the project, even following a raucous public hearing in June, which marked the last of the public hearings on the project. However, the NJTA is now moving ahead with additional permitting and approvals needed to begin the reconstruction, which will target the area specifically between exits 14 and 14A. That includes the bridge. The NJTA had been waiting to get environmental approval from the U.S. Coast Guard, which was granted in mid-spring. That approval came with the needed Coast Guard permit to seek additional required approvals to begin the construction. We'll keep you updated on when the first barrels will be hitting the roadway. This is the week the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association will be touring the new Gordie Howe Bridge in the Windsor-Detroit area. The tour of the U.S. side of the bridge will be happening during their upcoming maintenance and engineering workshop in Detroit. That tour is set for Saturday. That's July 26th. It will include the port of entry as well as a closer look at the construction site and the bridge's footprint on the U.S. side of the Detroit River. We told you last week the remaining construction work entails installing barriers and signage as well as electrical work and work at the U.S. and Canadian ports of entry. The bridge is expected to open this fall. We travel to Texas now to take a look at a couple of projects, including one on the Dallas North Tollway. where later this summer it is expected the Frisco widening project will bring a total of 4 travel lanes to the DNT from the Sam Rayburn Tollway north to US 380. Work is getting finalized on a cluster of ramp improvements at the El Dorado Parkway and Main Street exits, as well as DNT bridges over Fields Parkway. All should wrap up later this summer, with the widening project itself wrapped up by the fall. The widening project will accommodate not only current traffic, but traffic that will eventually hit the Phase 4 extension of the DNT. The first of 2 parts of that project is under construction now and has been for about 15 months, but it is only now that the landscape is beginning to look like a new freeway extension. The reason is the new retaining walls are being constructed as crews continue earthworks, drainage work, and support column installation. Raising of new beams is expected to get underway in a matter of weeks. However, the current part of the Phase 4 extension project, which will add 6 miles to the north end of the DNT, will not actually open to traffic for another 2 years. The widening project, however, is expected to wrap up in a matter of a couple of months. Coming up next week, we'll take a look at the other Texas Tollway extension project near Houston that has already been redrawn to accommodate local residents' concerns. That's the Fort Bend Parkway. In the meantime, remember to drive safely and avoid distracted driving. I'm Danny Pryor, reporting for Turnpikes.com, the Turnpike Authority.